A warm welcome to all listeners of our VIP Job podcast series, coming on air thanks to the Erasmus Plus VTJ2 project. VIP Tech Job Time to Act works towards easing access to the world of work for young visually impaired people. Behind the project are committed youngsters and youth workers from Belgium, Greece, Italy, and Spain. In our episodes, we will take you on a journey of discovering incredible initiatives, smart tools, and inspiring stories of young VIPs connected with facilitating access to the world of work. Happy listening!
Despite being highly capable, the blind and visually impaired are often overlooked by hiring managers and business owners. For someone who is blind or visually impaired, finding employment can be demoralizing and disheartening. However, it does not have to be that way. This podcast episode will offer job seekers with visual impairments some valuable information on how to begin a job search process. We will start the episode with a quick guide on effective curriculum vitae. In continuation, we will speak about motivation or cover letter, a document that helps you introduce briefly and provide some additional information that you may not have the possibility to include in your CV. In addition, we will look into tips and tricks on successful job interviews, such as body posture and body language. We will discover how to look for job openings online and how to use your social media accounts to find your job offers.
So, I decided to jumpstart my career. What should I do first?
The first step is probably to take some time to reflect on who you are, what you can do, and more than everything else, on what you want to do. After defining your objectives in terms of desired employment, you can prepare a CV.
How should I start writing a CV?
At the beginning, it's okay to start with some questions to yourself. What is my professional objectives? What kind of job do I tend to apply for? Are my professional and educational experiences coherent with my objective? Do I have appropriate skills and competencies? To this, VIPs should probably ask themselves what are the difficulties they might have in pursuing the given professional objective in relation to their visual disability. After reflecting on the latter question, you will probably know which experiences and activities are important to valorize and which are those better not to mention in your CV, including the visual impairment, if you decide so.
Will I need to prepare just one version of my CV?
There's no perfect CV. That is why the contents of the ideal CV are determined by the position and the person who is applying. Employers use the information in your CV to decide how suitable you are for the position. That means you should tailor the information in your CV to the position you are applying for. The aim of a CV is to get you an interview. You will most of the time need to adjust your CV to a specific job rather than sending a generic CV.
What are the CV basic writing rules?
A CV should be first short, 2 to 3 pages maximum, clear, tidy and well structured. Never forget the visual impact. It is the first thing the employer looks at. Furthermore, pay attention to grammar and spelling mistakes. It needs to be also logical, make use of different section and bullet points, and coherent. It has to show a continuity between your education and your work experience.
Which are the standard sections I should include in my CV?
Your CV should contain the following information: personal and contact information. You need to be careful here with social media profiles you decide to share. It can include also personal and professional statement. It's optional, but it may serve as an abstract of the CV. It is a section in form of a paragraph where you describe who you are, what do you have to offer, and what your ambitions are. Education and qualification. Here we mean your academic accomplishments. Your most recent school or academic program is most relevant. Start there and work your way back. And of course also professional experience. List your internships and any previous relevant work. If you're a first-time job seeker, you can showcase your skills, for example in creativity or project management. Mentioning activities or achievements will let the employers know that you really stand by your claims. State your job title, responsibilities, and primary tasks. The more specific you are, better it is. You can also mention other working experiences, volunteering, and hobbies connected with the job application. Here you can mention voluntary work, peer mentoring, student representative bodies. The activities connected with sports and culture can also be beneficial. Language skills indicate your level in written skill and speaking skills. Mention the courses you attended and certificates you got. Technical and computer skills, your skills related to ICT. Mention your certificates, for instance, European Certificate of Digital Competencies. The same is also valid for your language skills.
In the process of job hunting, is the CV the only document I need to prepare?
Usually the potential employer will also ask for a cover letter. Cover letters explain to recruiters why you are sending your candidature for a job. Their principal aim is to present your CV and thus convince who receives your application to read it. The cover letter can present an opportunity for you to explain why you'd be a good match for the company. Sometimes a cover letter is called a motivation letter.
How should I start preparing the cover letter?
A good way to start is finding information about the company organization on its website or social media. Also, it is important to read carefully the description of the position and understand what kind of professional profile they are looking for. Follow the instructions. If the description of the job offer asks you to answer specific questions in your cover letter, make sure to do so. Use an appropriate email address when applying for jobs. For instance, with your name and surname, you can create one if you don't have it. It's not appropriate to use, for instance, robin.hood@gmail.com. If you decide to mention your disability in the cover letter, make sure to present it as a positive aspect, specifying what you have learned from it and how it helped you develop other skills.
What kind of layout and style should I apply?
Your letter should have the layout of a typical business letter. In particular, it's important to space different elements and different paragraphs. You should also remember to justify your letter. If it's not explicitly stated differently, the length of your cover letter should not exceed 1 page. Use a professional language, but do not be overly formal because it could make you seem unfriendly. The letter should be read smoothly and easily, so avoid using complicated language. It's beneficial to include the keywords of the sector or the company in your letter. It shows your knowledge and that you are already familiar with that field of work. Lastly, try to avoid generic phrases and come up with your own style.
What about the core concept of the cover letter? What should I include?
In the first paragraph, you should introduce yourself. You should state why you're writing, specifying the name of the position you're applying for, and explain how you knew about this opportunity. Then include your brief presentation, your degree, the date of your graduation, or if you have more expertise, your professional experiences and goals that may be relevant for the position. In the second paragraph, it's opportunity to sell yourself. In this part, you can use what you learned through your research. You should state how you could be a good choice for the company and how you can contribute to its improvement. In particular, make evident how you match the requirements for the position. To do so, it's important that you provide examples of your transferable skills and knowledge. You may list your previous achievements. Third paragraph, closing. In 2 to 4 sentences, restate that you're motivated for the job and, if you attach it, invite the recruiter to read your CV for further information. Do not use vague sentences where you say that you hope to hear from them soon. Instead, try something more enthusiastic and concrete, for instance, mentioning your passion for that field of work.
To recap, what are the most important elements of the cover letter I should be focused on?
It's important to be specific. Adapt your letter to each application. Mention your specific skills and experiences relevant for the position you're applying for. Be concise. Go straight to the point. Repetitive and long cover letters are not appealing to recruiters. Do not repeat your CV. Rather, include more elaborated information not presented in your CV. Be concrete and explain why you would be a good match for the company with concrete examples. Skills and examples. Try to find out which skills are needed for that position. Then choose 2 or 3 of your skills matching the job and highlight them by providing evidence examples from your life when you show these skills. Achievements. Explain what can distinguish you from other candidates. Mention your previous achievements. Focus on the company. Everything that you write about yourself should be aimed at explaining how the company could benefit from hiring you. In addition to the CV and motivational letter, our goal is to provide you with tricks and tips to be successful during your job interview.
That sounds interesting. What should I know here?
For instance, how you should dress for an interview. Regarding that, we suggest you ask a sighted person you trust to help find an outfit to wear for the occasion. You can decide how you wish to dress, but in line with the company's culture, you see now why preliminary research is crucial. It is important not to overdress for the job interview in companies known for their casual culture. In any case, be ordinate and tidy.
What about my body language?
The way you act with your body has a great influence on the way you are perceived by others. A large part of communication between people is done through eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, and other aspects of body language. These aspects can be very challenging to someone with a visual disability. However, there are some tips. Keep eye contact. By looking at people, we indicate that we notice them or listen to them. You can do this by turning and tilting your head to where they hear the other person's voice coming from. People who are not used to deal with someone with a visual disability will greatly appreciate this because it gives them the illusion that they really have eye contact. Keep in mind your body posture. Remember that an upright position shows confidence and competence. Handshake. Take the initiative and hold your hand out toward your recruiters when meeting them. They will automatically grab it. During the handshake, it's important to have some tension in your hand.
What about the most important question? How should I explain my disability?
We suggest you preparing a disability statement that gives a little bit of information about what you can see or how you compensate for not being able to see, but mostly focus on your abilities and capacity to do the job. Explain how you may accomplish tasks differently than fully sighted workers. Maybe also adding your experiences with assistive technology.
When should I disclose that I am a VIP? What reactions should I expect?
We recommend you avoiding mentioning your disability in the CV cover letter. If you're not sure, it's a strength point for the job vacancy. However, if you think that your disability might be seen as an added value or a strength by the company, then you can decide to mention it in the CV cover letter. Before the job interview will take place, you should decide whether you wish to inform the employer before it or during the interview itself. In this case, don't be surprised if the recruiters are astonished at your arrival, and be prepared to face their reactions. Unfortunately, we have to say that recruiters and employers aren't always open-minded. They're often capable of prejudice or stereotyping. After creating your own CV and cover letter, it's important to focus on how to spot trustworthy online resources and tools for job seeking. Unfortunately, not all websites are already perfectly designed to be accessible for VIPs. Here we will try to give you some indications about how to search and apply for jobs online and how to overcome possible difficulties.
Regarding that, I was wondering which are the best and most useful websites for job seeking.
For example, there are websites with job offers for people with disabilities, such as www.willit.be in Belgium, www.jobmetoo.com in Italy, and www.portalento.es in Spain, where you may find opportunities for VIPs. In addition, the most famous websites are Indeed, Monster, JobbyJoba, InfoJobs, Glassdoor, and Google for Jobs. Furthermore, you can extend your research to other websites such as university websites, employment agencies, and companies' websites.
How could I facilitate my search?
Do not limit your search to the generalist websites. Try rather to expand it to other websites. more specific for the sector where you would like to work and that look for people with your qualification and experience. Further, limit your search to a city or a sector. Finally, most of the websites ask you to register if you want to apply for a position, but be careful when providing your personal data and when you agree to receive notifications.
Are all online forms accessible to VIPs?
Unfortunately, you should be prepared to the fact that many forms that have to be filled are not always accessible for VIPs. Although we try to offer you 3 solutions that may facilitate these tasks. Check that the technology at your disposal is the ultimate version, or if some updates are needed. Ask a sighted person to help you in the process. If you cannot get assistance from someone, check whether the company itself offers help to disabled people, for instance through their human resources department.
How should I use my social media accounts efficiently?
Networking is another important element in this process. The good news is that nowadays creating a network does not imply exclusively physical connections, but you can also interact with other people through social media from the comfort of your home. When using social media for job search, remember to create a professional account in order to separate it from your personal account. Revise what you wrote on different accounts about your education and employment history. It should be the same everywhere and match with what you stated on your CV. Try to follow companies and pages that may interest you for specific jobs. They often advertise open positions.
Which social media should I use?
We will focus on LinkedIn and Facebook. LinkedIn is a social network dedicated almost exclusively to recruitment. Once you have created a profile, you can connect with other users, join groups, and discuss with other professionals. This platform is quite accessible to VIPs. In particular, the app for smartphone is easier to navigate, even if there are some functions that are only available on the web version. Regarding Facebook, many companies have also started using it to advertise jobs. Moreover, there are other more informal ways to look for a job. For example, you can let your contacts know that you are on a job hunting. You can find it groups of users with your same professional interests or other groups exclusively dedicated to job search. For more in-depth information, visit our online course on howto.viptechjob.eu. We are sure that with the above suggestions you can get moving and successfully start your job hunt. The team of VipTech Job Time to Act hopes to be your valuable resource in tackling your job search obstacles.
This episode found its way to you thanks to the VTJ2 project and the Erasmus Plus program. To learn more about it, visit www.viptechjob.eu and possibly your organization's website. We invite you to listen to our podcast on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That's all for today. See you in one of our next episodes.